What is up, guys? Tomcat here, and welcome back to SpinTires MudRunner, where we are going to be talking about SnowRunner. SnowRunner has been a very heavily talked about topic lately on my channel, and I wanted to sort of make this video as a little bit of a roundup, because we've talked a lot about SnowRunner lately. There have been a ton of updates to it lately, both from the developers and things that have sort of gotten, like, leaked and have made their way out into the public eye a little bit early, like, for example, the achievements and the trailer that sort of went out to the public kind of a day before the developers kind of pushed it. It ended up getting out on the Xbox store a day in advance. But what I really wanted to do in this video is sort of do a bit of a roundup of everything that we've talked about so far related to SnowRunner, as well as maybe a few things that I would either consider things that still need addressing, or some things that the community is considering quote-unquote problems. So, with that being said, we brought along some vehicles. We've got Truck Knight the Green Hell at our disposal, and I am down to have some fun. So let's go ahead and throw just a couple of upgrades onto this Jeep JL here and set off. So I'm gonna throw the half doors on, and I don't need the spare. I'm not worried about this. Well, I kind of want it. Because I feel like it looks awkward without it. But with all of that being said, if you have not seen my update videos on SnowRunner, feel free to head over to the channel and take a look at them. There's a lot of information in each video that's got way more detail than this video does in particular. So if you're looking for details on a specific topic, you'll definitely find it in one of the videos I have done so far. Now, let's talk about common complaints and common issues that people have had. And while the issues and complaints are sort of few and far between, I do think that they're worth addressing. So, the first one right off the bat that I see a lot is people assuming that the release date is going to be different for different platforms. Now, this is an odd one, but I do see it fairly often. People thinking that, like, it's going to be, like, for example, when I showed the Xbox trailer, there were quite a few people that thought that it was going to be that April 28th was just the Xbox release date, or that was going to be an Xbox exclusive release date. That is not the case. April 28th is the overall release date, so no worries there. There were also people that were worried that, like, the release date was going to be different for, like, PlayStation, and as far as I know, it's not. I mean, granted, I don't deal much with the PlayStation side of things, but as far as I know, the release date for all and I think as far as everybody knows, the release date for all the platforms is the same. Now, with that being said, I mean, obviously, there are going to be some features that PC is going to have at launch that the consoles will not have, such as launch day mod support. Mod support will come later for consoles, and it is confirmed to be coming. It just won't really be there at launch day. So, if launch day mods are something that you're wanting to kind of have your hands on, you're definitely going to want to go the PC route. And I think that the PC route is the best way to go if you're going to be mod-centric. However, you do have the option of getting your hands on mods later on down the road if you are restricted to console. Now, I don't say that to belittle consoles in any way. I'm going to be owning the game on both PC and Xbox One, so I'm definitely interested in seeing what they do with mods on PC, but also what they see, or also seeing what they do with mods on console, because I feel like the mod market on console is going to be a lot more almost developer curated, if that's a word. Not necessarily like a word, but like a term. If being developer curated or more heavily developer curated was a thing, then I think that's definitely going to be more prevalent on the console versions. Now, I also want to talk about the Epic Store, right? That's like the elephant in the room, is the Epic Store. Everybody's, you know, ever since the announcement that SnowRunner was going to be on the Epic Store on PC instead of on Steam, everybody was like, oh no, the Epic Store, they're not getting my money. I'm going to wait until it goes on Steam or not buy the game at all. And I think that, I mean, that's a very, I can't touch on this topic enough. I mean, like, this is something that I see more often than not, you know, being talked about by people that have not really followed the game for very long, and then they see that, you know, maybe they had a little bit of time on MudRunner previously, and then they saw that SnowRunner was coming, and then they saw that it was going to be on the Epic Store, and they flipped their lid, basically. They were like, ah, Epic Store! You know, and it's like, there's not much you could do about it. I mean, I personally don't care what the delivery mechanism of the game is, so long as we have, you know, two things. One, the game. Two, the mods. And they've already confirmed that through mod.io, they were going to have mods in the game client anyway. So the Epic Store really doesn't worry me or bother me at all, and that's really just kind of like a bit of housekeeping. Now, another elephant in the room that gets talked about sometimes is the lack of more than 4 players in multiplayer, and that's a big one for some people. See, for some people, it's a really big deal, and for other people, it seems to not be. For me, it's... Ah! You almost got me. You almost got me. For me, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, I feel like the game definitely plays well with 4 players online. But there are some people like Frog and Red, for example, that have really voiced their concerns heavily in terms of multiplayer being limited to 4 people again. And I completely understand where they're coming from, because 4-player multiplayer is a little bit limiting. And, you know, even if it was 6 players as opposed to 4, I could see that additional 2 players being a really big deal. Now, I'm not sure if it's something they could ever expand upon in the overall life cycle of the game. I mean, I know everything can be updated, but I hesitate to think that that's something they would change. I feel like they're pretty solid in their pursuit of a 4-player multiplayer experience. And for better or worse, I think 4-player multiplayer is what we're going to be ending up with in the long run. Now, is that a deal breaker for me? No, absolutely not. I mean, is it a deal breaker for some people? It might be. And I think that's a risk and a chance they're willing to take, with that being a, you know, a factor for some people. But I want to know in the comment section if that's a deal breaker for you. I mean, maybe a disappointment, yes, but a deal breaker, no. I mean, I know it is a little bit of a disappointment for me. I mean, I know that I don't really share my negative opinions about the game very often, because 99.8% of my opinions about SnowRunner are extremely, exceedingly positive. I mean, they've made leaps and bounds with this game. They've made leaps and bounds for the series. I mean, they did something that nobody ever thought they were going to do, which was console mods. I mean, if you go back years ago to some of my videos, you know, where we speculated about this series having console mods in the future, it was one of the biggest points of criticism for me, and it was one of the biggest points of criticism that a lot of the modding community had for these videos, and they all basically said, oh my god, there's no way this is ever going to happen, you know, you're just spouting crap and there's no way this is ever going to happen. And I'm like, I feel like I held on to the idea that it might happen someday due to the fact that, you know, games like Farming Simulator and Skyrim, I believe, have moved to a were eventually able to move to a mods on PC environment, and I felt like that wasn't too far-fetched of a thing to hope for this game. And really, at a certain point, you know, you have to realize that, like, that's a possibility that can happen. So I'm really, really happy that they moved to that, you know, that they moved to that sort of environment, and they moved to that as a possibility. Now, moving forward, something that I would also like to talk about here is, oh god, the game's gonna crash. Oh, no, it's not. Wow. Wow, I'm proud of you. Oh my god, I'm proud of you. All right. All right. Let's get this here big boy lifted up. And we'll go ahead and head off down the trail. Now, something else I would like to talk about is I want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support that you guys have been giving me on the SnowRunner videos. It's been absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to bring you guys more SnowRunner content closer to launch. Now, something else I wanted to talk about that is also quite important, I think, is the fact that the community manager did say in the SnowRunner Discord that there will not be plans for any sort of open beta. He says they have already been through several rounds of closed beta in-house, and they do not have, like I said, they do not have any plans for a open beta. So I know there have been people that have been, you know, curious about open beta, but I don't think open beta is something that I really was not expecting any kind of open beta, like, from the beginning with this game, and I feel like it's just not the type of game that they would be very likely to run an open beta for. And, you know, with that being said, I think that I mean, obviously there are always things that can be learned from open betas, but also, you gotta think with open betas, you know, there's a lot that can go wrong, and I think there's a lot to be, like I said, a lot to be learned, a lot that could go wrong. So I think that there's so many things in this game that can be tested effectively in-house that I kind of agree with them in terms of not really seeing the long-term reason to do an open beta. Because, I mean, you know, I think a lot of people would say, well, of course there's a reason to do an open beta, but aside from, like, getting to play the game early, I don't really see that much reasoning behind, you know, a bunch of people in the community wanting an open beta. Now, okay, I know there are also going to be people that are going to say, well, it's, you know, it's going to help the modders prepare and this, that, and the other thing. But they've already said they're already talking to modders. So that's another thing that I'm not really worried about. And by the way, just collision axle things, this guy is stuck. Like, stuck. Big oof. And again, back to the open beta discussion. I mean, you guys have seen what's happening on the, if you play MudRunner at all, which I'm sure a lot of you do, you guys have seen what's been happening on the Steam Workshop lately, and it is how it has just been getting flooded with, you know, let's say certain types of mod spam, and just people that are just, like, they're not even making quality mods, they're just mod farms that are just throwing stuff out there for no apparent reason. I mean, if you go and look at the Steam Workshop right now for MudRunner, I think you'll definitely get an idea as to, I personally think one of the reasons why they wouldn't want to release an open beta, because while they know that there is a strong community around the game that loves it and makes quality mods and players that enjoy those quality mods, they also understand that there are people out there that are sort of just kind of abusing the modding system for MudRunners. So I think at the end of the day, I think they're making a wise decision in not having an open beta, because I feel like there's a lot of potential trouble that could come from that. But I don't know. I want to know I want to know y'all's opinion in the comments below on whether or not you think an open beta, like not having an open beta, was a missed opportunity for them, or if you support their decision to keep it all closed in-house beta until launch. So if you guys have any other topics that you would like me to cover in terms of SnowRunner, or if you have any topics that you think have been covered but need to be covered more in depth or more deeply, do let me know in the comment section below, because I'm always open to your suggestions, and I'm always open to what you guys would like to see in the videos, because again, you guys are the biggest driving force behind this channel, and I always want to hear your guys' input. So without any further ado, I think that's where we're going to end today's video, but let me know in the comments below your thoughts and opinions on not just the open beta topic, or the lack thereof an open beta topic, but also any of the other topics that we discussed in this video, and how you guys are feeling for SnowRunner just like shaping up in general. So if y'all enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you guys next time.